Episode 2, the SC Playbook EPL edition. My name's Alex Molchanoff. Former Socceroo Matt Jurman is with us again. Freshly re-signed this week, mate. Jurman, sorry. We will get there. And I'll remember by the end of this season, I promise. But new contract this week, mate. Congratulations. Going around again.
Yep. Thank you. Another year. So, quite excited about this season. I think we're going to have a good team and hopefully win some things.
And still have enough time to fit all this in around it as well. Get some media stuff going. You got a game up in Newcastle in the Cup. Maitland, former club of yours.
Yep. Next Sunday, I think it is. Up at Maitland, 4 o'clock. So it's a big game, quarter final. If we get a win, we're in the semis and we play maybe one of the MPL teams.
Yeah.
Which is still going to be a hard game, but and then
road
hopefully
to
get
the
into
finals
the final.
there.
Yeah.
Road to the finals there, right? And you decked out, new kit today, Liverpool shirt. Is that a seasonal thing? Is that every year, or you just like this one?
I do like this one. I try and get one every year. Went to the launch a couple of weeks ago at Ultra Football.
Fantastic.
With, my sister and Adama, and got the new jersey, which was nice. And I think it's going to bring back some trophies, hopefully.
That's it. They're the reigning champions. They've got the best player in Playbook, in EPL Fantasy, in Supercoach, in all those different things. So we're looking forward to seeing how they go this year. We've got our team reveals today, Matty.
Yep.
So we're going to start at the back. We're going to take it forward. We're going to try and argue our way in and out of positions. We're going to doubt ourselves. This is a familiar torture for everybody who goes through this at a serious, who invests their time into this. So we're going to try and make it simple for you. We're going to try and explain ourselves, and we're happy to take all your feedback. If you want to hammer us, if there's someone we've missed, someone you want us to comment on when we come back here after the first weekend of fixtures, we are happy to do just that. Make sure you're following along SC Playbook on Instagram, Twitter, and as well, join the Supercoach team. We're up around 600 entrants as I sit here on Friday night, so we'll get involved with that. $1,000 cash up to win. So make sure you're following along with that through the socials over the course of the season as well. But let's get into it, Matty. No more stuffing about. In goal, you've gone David Raya, you've gone Arsenal. Talk us through it.
Yeah, look, I've gone with Raya because I think Arsenal had a very good defence last year, right?
Yeah.
And for his price, I think it's too hard to pass up. If you're comparing him to other goalkeepers in the game, I'm expecting a lot of clean sheets with Arsenal's defence, and that's just the reason. I think with the price, it's pretty good, and I see him having a strong season and a good start to the season as well. Second
highest scorer across all last year, only behind Jordan Pickford. Matt Sells is in and around there with Nottingham Forest. We're expecting them to drop off. You're right. At that price point, if you are spending money on your goalkeepers, for me, I think he's the option as well. You can argue around Edison. There's some discussion about Martin Dubravka at Burnley, but it's going to be difficult again for them. The jump between the championship, we talked last time about their 16 goals conceded, remarkable. Doing some further research this week, the XG, they might have got away with, I don't know how deep you get into your XG and all that sort of stuff, but their XG was more than double. So It took a good goalkeeper, but it should also equalise over the course of a season and step up to the Premier League. For these guys, we've seen the results that the promoted clubs have had over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they've also got a new goalkeeper as well. So you don't know how he's going to go adapting with the new team, but he's got the Premier League experience, so that does help. But the promoted teams never really do too well in the first season. It's going to be hard to stay up, but that also means a lot of work, a lot of save points. He could be a good shout, but he's also up there to cop a lot of goals this season, playing against some bigger clubs than they have in the Championship.
The only other one I'll push you on is Jordan Pickford, who was the highest scorer last year. Everton look an improved team, but still one that are going to allow shots. The reason he is so highly rated in this game is because of the amount of saves he makes. He's done that consistently for the last 4 years. Any thoughts there? It's another $1 million to get him in. I think it would be difficult to go that high for a goalkeeper, particularly when the variance could be so high, given Everton and what they like,
Yeah, I mean, you can never trust Everton, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's for me. I see the price of Raya, and he's going to be for me, they're going to be top 3. And then Everton, you don't know. It's just unknown how they're going to go. Obviously, having the coach, David Moyes, back there, he's done well last year when he came back. But at the same time, they could be hanging around the relegation zone again. They haven't really brought too many players in. But, for me, I think Raya's a much better option.
We'll get back to Everton later on because there's a couple of interesting options, one of whom you've got in your midfield after his signing from Manchester City. But we've both got Carl Darlow in as the backup, just a cheap option. Now, this is interesting because there's been a lot of speculation. Leeds have got a new goalkeeper in from Lyon. And because of the price tag attached to him, a lot of people are expecting him to start. If you look at the preseason, though, Darlow's still been playing minutes for them. So I'm happy to go there and knowing it's a cheap throwaway, change that. I've gone Dusan Petrovic, who's signed to Bournemouth from Chelsea. A cheaper option than you, Matty, but 4.5-ish. He's going to be behind a defence. I know it's been gutted. I know that Bournemouth... their defensive output is not expected to be as good as it was last year, but I'm happy enough with a goalkeeper that's going to that's going to be out there consistently behind a defence that has proved under Andoni Iraola that they can be consistent enough. That Liverpool fixture the first week isn't great, but I'm confident he's going to be my man for the majority of the season, and I'm looking to invest big elsewhere. So the goalkeeper spot, I'm happy to stay there. Other options around the 4.5, I don't want to spend too much more time on goalkeepers, but again, you're looking at upgrades. Anything beyond that with Jose Sarr, even Guillermo Vicario is another sort of 800k above that for Spurs. Aaron Ramsdale, just scrolling down there. Bart Verbruggen's an interesting one at Brighton. That would be the other one I would maybe think about going to because of Brighton's potential to have another very strong season and because they've been fairly settled. Matthias de Cooper, who we've both got in our sides at the moment in defence in front of them, that's the only reason I've steered away from him is just avoiding a double up there. But he's another one that I think some people will be bringing in as the season goes on. Right, you happy with that, Matty?
Yeah, I think even just the Man City keeper, Trafford, right? There's also rumours that Donnarumma's coming in. Yes,
Edison might be on the way out. There's a lot of movement there. Trafford could be one that is interesting as a backup for people.
Yeah, he's pretty cheap, and if he's starting for Man City, that's a good option to have, I think. Things could change if Donnarumma comes in as well, and then you wouldn't know what type of price he would be, but that could be a good shout. He's had a good few years at PSG as well, so one to keep an eye on. But also there's Alisson as well.
Getting at that bigger price point, right? You'd be taking an upgrade to go him over someone like Raya.
Yeah, so usually I'm trying to keep the keepers pretty cheap, but I've gone with Raya just to have a bit of the Arsenal in the team somewhere. I'm pretty happy with it so far.
And it's interesting because moving forward, and we'll have a look at this in just a moment, there's a lot of attacking fullbacks who are options for other teams that are going to score you in that position, whereas Arsenal don't have that, right? To the same extent in the past. So I think that's another reason that Raya is a good option if you're spending back there. He's someone I might end up actually bringing in before everything is said and done, but we'll see. Okay, let's go to the defence. Matty, running through your team at the moment, Jeremy Frimpong, who I share with you in there, Mickey van der Ven, scorer against PSG in the Super Cup during the week, this morning, as we sit here recording on Thursday night. Matthias de Cooper, the signing from Belgium with Club Brugge. He's got Champions League experience coming in at Brighton, a popular pick across the game at the moment. And then you've gone Diouf at West Ham as one of your cheapies, along with Esteve, the centre-half from Burnley. So a good spread there. And you're spending bigger than some on your defence, but you haven't gone any higher than the 6.5 spent on Jeremy Frimpong.
Yeah, I think, you've got to have some attacking players in there, and apart from Van der Ven, he's really a centre back, but he scored this morning, and I see him scoring a few goals off set pieces.
Any worry about fitness?
Yeah, it's always a worry. Yeah. But I think he had the one hamstring injury, but it lingered a bit last season, where they had to keep him in cotton wool leading into the final and stuff. But Yeah, no, I think, apart from Van der Ven, who's the centre back, the other three that I've got starting now, they're all attacking fullbacks, which I always try and have, in the team. Players that can get forward and in Supercoach you see now it's important to have a lot of players who can get assists, especially from the defence. You get a lot more points. So I think that's the strategy I'm going to go with at the moment, but it can also change before the first game week.
It's interesting. So the way you're thinking, even as a defensive player, during your career, is that you're going to be able to score points further forward. And I think we've all looked at the scoring system here. There's some great rundowns at SC Playbook. Make sure you go and have a read of them before you get things all locked away and finalised for that Saturday morning kickoff between Liverpool and Bournemouth. But yeah, it looks as though the guys that are going to raise your roof are going to be further up the pitch. And even if they are box-to-box guys through your midfield, there's still so much output to be had in an attacking sense. And although the clean sheets are there and you're going to be able to get some consistently with the big clubs, structuring your sides at the moment, the forward lines and those attacking midfielders are still as key as they are in FPL, despite some of the changes in the way people the ways that people are categorised. We'll go through some of that as we get further forward as well. Esteve from Burnley, I think that's interesting because Walker is the highest picked of any of the lower tier defenders. I think that's on name recognition more than anything, as well as the price. But Esteve, part of that terrific defence last season, right? So he's going to be a guy, hopefully, who can build you some value.
Yeah, build a bit of value. And also, he's on my bench at the moment, but, he's someone that you can, bring in. Maybe he gets a few points here and there if someone doesn't play. But, yeah, I think I'm pretty settled with most of my defence. The only way it'll change is if I want to invest on a few defenders.
Is there anyone you got your eye on there? The one I wrote about during the week was Gabriel, because of his consistency. But again, it's a big spend. I think he's going to give you consistency. He's a guy who hasn't been sent off in 3 years. He's played consistent football, only had that minor injury last season and has barely missed a game otherwise. And then Willie Saliba, I think he's got a little bit more of a looseness about him, but at the same time, they're both threats from set pieces. We know how much Arteta loves that area of the game. I think either of those Arsenal players, particularly if you're avoiding Raya in goal, are an option. And that's actually the way I've gone. I've gone Willie Saliba at the moment, just at the slightly lower price point. But I'm completely with you. Jeremy Frimpong must have been excited as a Liverpool fan during the Community Shield to see how well he was getting forward. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think he's come in and, straight away you can see he's got great potential to replace Alexander-Arnold on the right. But yeah, just going back to players that you think would be worth looking at, I'd look at the Man City defence. Maybe get someone in that, Ait Nouri's.
Ait Nouri's the one, right?
Yeah,
coming from Wolves.
He's always attacking minded. He's played in a back five, where he had that, ability to get forward and try and score and get an assist. So he's one I'm looking at. I would also look at Pedro Porro from Tottenham. He's on set pieces, so that's something that I think. It's something that you should be looking at as well to see for those assists. Any thought
of upgrading, going from Van der Ven? Because I think you'd have one or the other, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have two in the same defence. That's not something I'll be doing. But yeah, if I was going to upgrade to Porro, I'd probably upgrade there. Yeah,
there you go. And just going elsewhere, City, Josko Gvardiol would have scored highly last year. I think there's some worry about where he's going to fit into Pep Guardiola's side, right?
Yeah, I think there was a time where you knew he was going to play left back and get those attacking returns last year, but then there was a few injuries, so he had to go and play more centre back. Through the centre, where he can still get you points. But yeah, I always try and go for those players that are playing on the fullbacks and get those attacking returns as well as clean sheets, at the same time.
And last one, Diouf at West Ham didn't impress greatly Graham Potter's team at the end of last year. Are you confident in them as a whole, or is it just someone you think can build value for you early?
Bit of a risk. You don't know how West Ham's going to start. It's always a bit of a risk, I guess. Some of these lower teams. But yeah, I think he's had a good preseason. And he's attacking minded as well. So, and he's left footed. Always like left footers.
I'll tell you what, you're going to have an answer on how they're going, because the start of their season is quite kind. They go Sunderland, then they've got Chelsea visiting them, Forest away, Spurs at home. I think this is maybe not kind, but it's going to be a good indication of their level early in the season. So you're going to have a response on how that pick's turned out fairly early. Just running through my side quickly, De Kuyper, I think we're both drawn to him because of the attacking qualities and the fact that Brighton are going to be up there again. There's some tipping them that finish in the top 4. Like, there really is a mythology about that club at the moment, the way they just keep signing, strong players. Yeah,
they find hidden gems, and you can see with Matoma last year, he had a great season, and also a few other guys in the attacking third also did really well, and they also had these attacking fullbacks who like to get forward, and I think De Kuyper is another one who has that ability to do that. So looking forward to watching Brighton play, and I think for me, I think I'll be sticking with him to have a good start to the season.
Yeah. The other, sorry, just finishing off my side, Malo Gusto coming in. I'm expecting him to start given the minutes he's been seeing in pre-season. Levi Colwill out now, so there's going to be a little bit of a rejig back there. Mark Cucurella, I know, is popular with people, but, is he going to be able to sustain the form that he put up last season? I'm a bit iffy on that. And Hartman is the one I've brought in as the Burnley fullback who's been getting a lot of time in pre-season for them as well. Just a slight drop in price from Esteve, and I think he's fresher, newer, has been playing at Feyenoord at a good level in Holland. So I'm happy to have him as someone starting on my bench to begin with for Burnley, and then just see how everything unfolds there. Right, let's get into the midfielders. Cole Palmer, a first pick for both of us, I think. Was he first name? After Salah. In this area of the field, though, you're happy to go with that big spend for someone who's on penalties, was one of the highest scorers in the game last year. Makes plenty of sense. Good captaincy option. You've gone Simon Adingra next to him, and then Jack Grealish. So you're looking more value in your midfield, right, Matty? And then leaving it for the big boys up front to get you the big points. Yeah,
I've started with Palmer. I think he's a good shout in midfield. I think that the Chelsea team depend a lot on him to be able to get them started off really well in the league. They've had a good preseason. Yeah, I think, Grealish, you don't know what he's going to be like because he hasn't really played too much. So when he gets to Everton, I think it's a good signing for them. He's cheap. I think it's a smart move to have him in your team. He's got a point to prove this season, and I see him having a big year, to be honest. Obviously Adingra, I think he's probably going to be one of the most attacking players for Sunderland. He'll have that license to get forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play. It was a bit hard to sort of get the midfield that I really wanted. I've changed a few players. Apparently Rodri's been training.
Yes, I've heard that as well. So I'm very keen to see how that all plays out, because Reinders has had he scored 2 goals in pre-season, and everybody's sort of lost their mind, and people are starting to get him in en masse as well. So, would that be a thought for a trade before the start of the season?
Yeah, I think I'll stick strong with Rodri.
Rodri?
The team relies a lot on him, as you can see last season when he was out.
He's first picked when he is there, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And also, I've got Ramsey on the bench. He's at Villa, but I think he's heavily linked to Newcastle. So,
right.
That could be, something to be interested in with Ramsey going there just off the bench. But, he could always come in and maybe change up with Adingra or something like that.
Not too uncertain with the move first. He can come straight in.
Yeah, just keep him there.
There's a few sideways options at that price point, I'm just saying.
There is. I've changed a few times, but for now I've got him.
I'll bring one to you right now. Pape Sarr, who's the everywhere man, right, was running rings around PSG defenders during that game. Be very interested to see, albeit that Super Cup for a long time looked like a pre-season game in Venezia. Everybody's very happy. You know, it was a light sort of Italian summer's afternoon.
Yep.
But Pape Sarr looked good, has been getting minutes there. I've gone Bruno Fernandes next to Cole Palmer. They're my two big captaincy options, and we'll get into our forward lines because there's quite a bit of overlap between us there. Martin Odegaard is an interesting one. Missed towards the end of last season through the middle of the season, and Arsenal really dropped off while he was out. I think I'm still of the opinion Arsenal, if they go with Odegaard, Rice, with, you know, a Havertz, a Saka, more central, they could have one of the most creative midfields in the league with that defensive solidity as well. And that Rice is just such a terrific box-to-box player. I was thinking about bringing him in just as a slight upgrade to Odegaard, given the fact we know he can hit a free kick, the assists that he was able to get last year. But Odegaard is starting there for me at the moment, just at the slightly lower price to give me a bit of spend elsewhere. And then I've had the tip into Josh King from some Fulham fans who've been watching during pre-season. And at 3.75, he seems like he's going to be getting minutes early in the season. I can afford to cop him as a bench player who's just there to build some value for me early in the season. And Fulham play attacking, exciting football. He's going to have the opportunity to score points. Disappointed to see Muniz move off to Atalanta. That came through just after I'd sent my draft to you, Matty, with him in there. And we've had to do some reshuffling. But the other options around that midfield area, if you're looking at the big scorers last year, they were Palmer and Fernandes. Jared Bowen is still classified as a midfielder in Supercoach. He's one I thought actually might have been propped further forward. He's coming in at 11.7. I thought around him at all. I just think West Ham, it's going to be so difficult for him to continue the output unless there's a significant improvement from them behind him.
Yeah, I actually had him in my team.
Right, you just had him in a draft?
Yeah, maybe a couple of hours before I sent it to you. And I started thinking about changing him and using that value for Haaland up front. Yeah. And I think I'd rather have Haaland all day.
Exactly.
You know? Especially, you know, you're in a Man City attack. You're going to be in top four, challenging for a title. Makes more sense to go with Haaland than Bowen. I'm expecting Bowen to have a good season as well, but if I have to choose between the two, I'd go with Haaland. Yeah, all day.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The other ones around that price point, you're looking at Alex Iwobi is a slight downgrade around 9.5. I'm going to avoid him having King in the side, but is he one you'd think of at all? I just think there are better options out there around that price point. And if you're going to go for someone like an Iwobi, then you may as well spend the 800k extra or so on someone like an Eberechi Eze.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace are a good team to get in.
What do you think of them overall this season? Do you think they're going to be able to sustain? Because they started last year very slowly, obviously had the cup run, and then they were the hot ticket going home. Do you think they're going to be able to keep that up? Played well against Liverpool without being outstanding in that Community Shield game. How much do you take out of all of that?
I mean, I think it builds a lot of confidence for the start of the season. I really like their coach as well. And you know, I think Arteta is definitely someone that should be on people's minds going into the season. You got him, you got Sarr as well, who scored against Liverpool in
another cup price option as well. I think he's around $7 million at the moment.
And he's a forward, right? So I think
Ismaila Sarr.
Sure he was.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Classified, so midfielder in FPL. That's why I was scrambling there because he's midfielder in FPL. But you're right, a forward in this game, it just would take another mil or so off you if you're going for a Palace striker. Yeah,
I mean, but also at the same time, their captain's been linked to Liverpool and Chelsea actually the last few days. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think Palace as a team, they're a big surprise for the Premier League, and some of the attacking players, they're a good shout. Also, the fullback Muñez as well.
So he was the interesting one, and this really good piece written during the week on the SC Playbook website explains how much valuable Muñez would have been in Supercoach last year because of the attacking output returns, and how much more defenders are rewarded for that in this season. He would have outscored Mateta quite comfortably, and that's the reason he's the most expensive defender in the game, just over 10 mil.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's probably warranted in terms of how quick he got forward and how many he scored a lot of goals and assists as well. Right. You know? So that's the thing. If you want to go with a defender who can get you those attacking returns, who's going to cost you a lot, it's going to hurt you in other areas of the pitch. So, for me, I'd rather go a bit cheaper in the defence and spend bigger at the front third and with Palmer as well in the midfield.
Two other teams I want to talk about quickly: Liverpool and City. So Liverpool first. You've got a lot of turnover in what's happening there during this off season, but you've still got Alexis McAllister in there. You've still got Dominic Szoboszlai. Do you think there's going to be... The reason I'm staying away from them is because I'm not sure what the rotation... It's going to be a similar theme with Manchester City. Yep. Is that your thinking behind no Liverpool players through the middle of the park as well? Or is it just the Salah factor, the fact that you've got him in and you feel covered if Liverpool get off to a hot attacking start? Most of it's going to come through him. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to get too many Liverpool players in.
They do cost you, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They got great quality all over the pitch. So you've got to choose wisely where you get in your team. I'm happy with Salah and Frimpong at the moment. But at the same time, if you can get a third in there and you're confident they're going to have a big season again, I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst option, to be fair. If I was going to go for another Liverpool player, I'd probably go with Gapco, probably.
Yeah, someone who'll be able to get forward.
Yeah,
he's going to be involved week on week,
and he's a forward on the game. So he's probably the one I'd look at bringing in maybe to partner Salah.
And the last two Manchester City players, Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva, priced very similarly, around 7.5 mil. They are very tempting for me. I've gone for Odegaard in their positions just because I think he's less likely to be rotated. But Bernardo Silva is wearing the captain's armband this year. I think you make a strong argument for pushing him into that side. And I think it's an option I might take at some point during this season if Fernandes or Palmer are not performing to the level I need them to. I have the chance to sort of adjust there and put that money towards a forward that I'm spending in midfield at the moment. And
it's a downgrade to him as well. So,
exactly.
I mean, it's not a bad option. See how the first few games go and go from there. But I think, I don't know, with Foden, I'm not sure about him.
Not solid. It was interesting last year, wasn't it? And you've seen some players flame out at City in Pep's system. Grealish is the most obvious example. We haven't even talked about Everton yet. We'll get there in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking away from Man City players. I you just don't really know who's going to play, and it's a bit of a risk for me. When you've got to depend on what formation you play as well. And with me, I've got three midfielders and don't really want to spend too big on a Man City player that you're not sure is going to play. So, I'm pretty happy to steer away from them. Haaland's pretty guaranteed to start, so I'm happy with him. But what's the other one? Marmoush.
Yeah, Omar Marmoush. Yeah, still going to be at the club. Savinho's been linked with a move away, which means means potentially he'll be seeing a bit more of the pitch this season as well.
Yeah, I think he'd be the next player I'd look at bringing in if I had to bring a Man City player in.
There we go. And final one, Jack Grealish. Into your side, 3.9 mil. He's caught the eye of a lot of people. The other Everton player that's getting talked about a lot in fantasy circles is Kenan Dewsbury Hall.
Yep.
How are you seeing that all line up? Is Iliman Njai in your thinking at all as well if you were going to go an upgrade in that position? Or you're happy with Grealish, going to sit there and see if he can build you some value? I think, personally, that's the move at the moment.
Yeah, I actually had Dewsbury Hall in my team, but I had two Everton players and I didn't want that either.
Yeah.
So I got rid of him, especially with Grealish coming in. I think he'll take over that 10 role in the team. It might take him a little bit to get going. That's the thing that you got to risk with Grealish at the moment. But they brought him into play, and I'd rather him over Dewsbury Hall.
That seems to be the argument between most people who are arguing about those is who's going to be taking that 10 position, because they can all play in all three positions across the front line, but obviously more goals coming through the centre of the park.
I think Dewsbury Hall can play more of a 6 role as well, and I see him moving back a little bit, to maybe feed Grealish. But yeah, I think you'd rather have Grealish because he's got more attacking returns in him in the front third. And who's playing up front for Everton now?
So it'll be Barry, the new signing up there. I think he's priced around 5 mil at the moment. But it's a bit of a cursed position up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Beto's still at the club as well.
Beto as well, yeah.
So
He could
it'll be
option
between those two.
Yeah, right, because they've lost Calvin Lewin. So, he's gone to Leeds maybe. So, I'm happy with just one Everton player at the moment.
Everton player at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, are you attached to him? Will you trade him out if you see he's not starting where you want? Say he starts. Say David Moyes names him on the left flank week 1.
Yeah, I'm happy.
You're happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Left flank.
There we go.
I see a lot of returns on the left flank. He cuts in and
That's the old Aston Villa position. Remember that? That's Grealish in full flight, man. That's what we remember, right?
Those days when he was at Villa,
And I'll tell you what, David Moyes, you've got this reputation as the the disciplinarian. Some of his Everton teams down the years have played some bloody good attacking stuff.
Definitely, yeah. When Timmy Cahill was there,
exactly,
scoring a lot of goals.
Playing up there with what was his name? Yakubu and Andy Johnson, bald flyer, who was coming in. It was just popping in goals from everywhere. Fellaini joining in. Mikel Arteta. There we go. Let's look at you giving Everton a rap, eh?
Yeah.
I've drawn you in. Sorry. I've drawn you in. Apologies. Right, let's go up front because there's a bit of overlap for both of us up here. But Salah, let's lay it all out there. You've got him in from the start. I think I'll have him at some stage, but why from the start? Why why not from the start, I guess, is more the question, isn't it?
It's an emotional pick, I think.
Well? Okay.
I watched the Charity Shield. Yeah. Obviously, didn't barely touch the ball in that game. I think it was a bit, a lot of people got scared away from having him in the team. But for me, he's just so good, good to watch. Always has returns in these type of games, and
I think he's the record scorer. I think he's got 2 of the highest ever scoring seasons in FPL. So, he's.
I think he broke the record last year. So, his age does not matter. Yeah. So, I'm all in on Salah. He's my captain to start this week, and I think he's someone that people, really got to think hard about, because you can't just trade him in on one trade.
That's right.
So you're going to have to make a few trades to get him in, and if he gets those attacking returns, his price goes up, and maybe it's harder to get in as well. So for me, I'm bringing him in. Usually I don't ever trade him out either. So it's a hard one.
Set and forget captain.
Price,
Set and forget captain.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be happy watching Liverpool games and having him as captain every week.
And I'll admit now, in my FPL setup, I've got him in. He's my captain. I've got no qualms. The price is good. Here, I'm being greedy because of the record last year, because of how prolific he was, because of how much of Liverpool's play went through him. I can't see it being the case again this year. With Wirtz, with the way that... what was his name, who played next to him? Ugo Ekitike was fantastic. Yeah. And they're going to have that variance in options. They're going to... I can't see a situation where Salah, getting as old as he is relied upon as heavily as he was again last season. That's the only reason I've not got him in. I think I will at some stage during the year, particularly if there's a price drop of some description. I think that's going to happen because just of the sheer weight of goals and points he's going to have to score to keep his price up there. It's going to be very difficult for him to do that. If he does, I'm happy to tip my cap and I will enjoy every moment of it, but it's allowed me to stock up in midfield, to have a defender or two that are a little stronger than they would be otherwise, and think that, hey, these other guys I've got here are going to be able to do a job for me. So these are the two we've got overlapping, Erling Haaland and Ollie Watkins. Haaland, I think we're both agreed, is the City option because he will be the name on the team sheet. There is no equivalent for him in Pep Guardiola's squad. And 21 goals, a little bit of a disappointing return last year. I don't think that's going to happen again.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying to you before.
Yeah.
I think I had to choose between him and Bowen, and I think Haaland's going to have a bounce back season this year. He's always hungry for goals, and for me, I think it's hard to not have him in your team. Similar to Salah, he's always there for the attack at Man City. He's there for the tap-ins as well. And the way that Man City play, there was always something happening in that box. Yeah. So you sort of, it'd be hard not to have him. But if I had to choose between him and Bowen, I'm having Haaland.
So the one caveat, the one question mark I've got over him is the fact that this Manchester City team might not bounce straight back. I think they will be better than last year. I think his goal return will be better. But this is a third team that Pep Guardiola is having to build now at that team, at that club. And there's been a lot of turnover, particularly through the middle of the field, the guys feeding him. It's the only half question I've got in the back of my mind is are City going to be able to do it again? Have you got Liverpool winning you said Liverpool winning the title again this year? Well, it's tough because you look at the betting markets at the moment. It's all sort of it's the first time I can remember. It's all sort of $3 and longer. Like it is a real even race between City, Liverpool, and Arsenal.
I mean, they've all brought in good players, right? So that's going to make it a lot tighter this season. Liverpool's brought in players as well, and a lot of people think because they've won the league and they've invested, it's going to come to them like easily. It's not going to come easy. It's going to be quite tight. I mean, at that price point on those two that we spoke about, I think, if you were to go down and bring Saka in, that's also a good option for me. And also, you don't know where Isak's going to end up either. Yeah. So there's a few players that you could downgrade to.
Steering clear of Isak until I see him in a Liverpool shirt or, I don't know, somehow back in. So he said he won't play for the club again last year, which is
for him.
Just, so disappointing given how strong a player he was last year. I like Saka as a downgrade option from Haaland if things start well. But again, with those players that Arsenal have brought in, I'm actually hoping for their sake in their season, they're not having to rely on him as heavily as they've had to in the past. Any of the United players take your fancy whatsoever? And Mbeumo, Cunha, both high scorers in the game last year, but having to share responsibility. And then Benjamin Sesko coming in, cut price, 6.5. But, no guarantee he'll start straight away. I think they've spent the money and they'll play him. But he could be one to look at.
Yeah, Sesko's one definitely that you could bring in.
Big beanpole of a thing, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big boy. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that with Man United, you don't know how they're going to go, how they're going to start. I actually had Mbeumo and Cunha a lot in my team last year in FPL, and apart from Cunha getting the red card,
happy with the returns.
Apart from the red card that he got when I brought him in, and he was out for 3 or 4 weeks, he did all right. Apart from that, and also Mbeumo is he's had a big season last year. Yeah. He's got his move to a big club, and I'm sure he wants to hit the ground running as well. That's someone that you should keep tabs on. Keep him in your mind. But yeah, I think the Man United team in general, you've seen so many players go there and just not hit the ground running like they were in their old club. So for me, I'm staying away from Man United. The only player that I would go for would be Fernandes. Yeah. Because most of the team revolves around him, So
right. I still can't see that change. Whereas they've brought that in, he's still going to be the fulcrum, right? Yeah. And it's that slight difference in
Capitano as well.
Exactly,
so he's guaranteed to play,
and he'll take pens. No one's taking them off him.
No chance.
Elsewhere, looking at players that could be further down, he spoke quickly about Jean-Philippe Mateta. We've both got Ollie Watkins in our side at the moment, and I think there's an expectation he'll start for Villa. There is some word around about Marlon and whether he's owed football after the fact he didn't play Champions League last year. I'm not really buying into that, but Morgan Rogers is also around as well. Yep. That would be a potential option if you were to trade away from him, and at the lower price point it could be a situation where you're going maybe a Palace midfielder and Watkins up front, or you're going a Morgan Rogers and then someone like Jean-Philippe Mateta as things go on. Is that crossed your mind at all to make that downgrade up front? I'm content I'll start the season with Watkins, but I've got no attachment to him. If he doesn't start on fire, I'll be very quick to move away, I think.
Yeah, I think you need at least one of those players in Watkins or Rogers. I've gone with Watkins because there's a bit of an injury cloud around Rogers, and for me, Watkins has had a good preseason. I think he's scored 4 or 5 goals so far. So that's someone that I think is going to hit the ground running, which is what you want to get those price rises. I think Rogers is also a good shout, but also, when you're talking about Palace, you can always go with Matata or Sarr as well.
Yeah.
It just depends. But for me, I try and keep as many bigger players from bigger clubs as possible. Obviously depending if they're starting or not, but they're the ones I've gone for at the moment. Depending, it might change, but that's what I'm going for.
Harder for you because you've already got Salah in. The other one that's turned my head is Florian Wirtz at 8 mil. Like, that is potentially very good value early in the season. And Gyökeres is the other one, 7.5 mil. Again, I think undervalued just because it's a new player, coming into the Premier League. And if he does start and he is on penalties, he's another one I can see myself. Watkins is the one that I'm looking at in my lineup at the moment, going, okay, I reckon I can trade away from you and pick up a bit more value elsewhere. The other player I picked up is Mark Gui, from Sunderland. I think he's going to be playing consistently. I'm not expecting him to score big, but hopefully he can pick up a goal or two in the early season, and then there's the opportunity to move upward from there. Matty, I think that about covers us for our team reveal. Can you just roll through one more time your 15 players and your captain and vice captain for game week 1?
Yep. So I got Rayo in goals. He'll start.
Yep.
Darlow on the bench.
Yep.
From Leeds. Then we got Frimpong from Liverpool, Van der Ven, Tottenham, Kuiper from Brighton, and Juve from West Ham. Then we got Stevie on the bench at the moment. So I think I'll stick with the forward defence. I actually was changing the formations a few times. It's been
fun to do, right? Yeah. Because you can go with the two at the back if you really, really want. That's a bit of a change from Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. That was a bit of a change. Something I sort of did a few times, but I've gone back with the attacking defenders, especially the fullbacks for my team. Then I've got in midfield, I've got the 3, Palmer, Adingra, and Grealish starting, and then Ramsey and Rodri on the bench. So those two on the bench could change. Probably not Ramsey. He might get traded out. But if Rodri's starting, that could be a shout, to bring in. And then up front, I've got Salah, Haaland, and Watkins. So pretty happy with the forward line.
That's where you got the biggest stacked. Spending, eh? That's it.
Yeah, pretty stacked. But I think it'll be Salah captain this week.
Yep.
And Palmer vice.
There we go. I like it. From my perspective, I'm starting Darlow in goal, knowing that if he doesn't start, Petrovic will pick up his points, so I'm not too worried there. Hopefully, I may have a fiddle around with the goalkeepers before we actually get things started. Defence, Willy Saliba, Jeremy Frimpong, Matthias de Kuiper, and Mark Gusto, with Hartman from Burnley as the cheapie on the bench for the defensive line. I'm playing a 4-4-2. Cole Palmer and Bruno Fernandes through midfield with Martin Odegaard and Pape Sarr. Josh King is the Fulham player on the bench for me. I've got Cole Palmer as my vice and Bruno Fernandes as my captain at the moment. Erling Haaland partnering Ollie Watkins up front, and Mark Gui, the Sunderland player, off the bench in the total 15. Make sure you're all over the SC Playbook community over the next week or so. First game, Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Some great wrap-ups written by Steve Nikolowski and Harry West at SC Playbook, so make sure you go and check that out. Nikolowski's put in all the changes that you're expecting in the rules, and then Harry West, who's a real data guy, has gone into why your FPL team won't work, not least because you can't do it because of the price differences, but also because of the defenders and their reward for going forward, the way your substitutions work. Remember, if you're playing 2 subs in a certain position and someone doesn't play, your lowest scorer comes on, not your highest scorer. So there's a little danger to be avoided there. Everything you need to know about break-evens, the way defenders are scored, and the way that players are scoring points almost incidentally as they go about their play because of the creative passes and blocks and shots on target that are counted in Supercoach, which aren't in FPL. So if you need to get across all that, head to SC Playbook. Make sure you take on me and Matty in the SC Playbook EPL Supercoach competition. You can find the codes on Instagram and X. Make sure you're catching up with all our content over the course of the week and into the weekend. Thanks for your company tonight. We'll be back next week to wrap up game week 1, see who's been lucky, who's been less fortunate, which injured players are going to do our hearts in and our minds over the course of the season. It's been a pleasure to have you. Matt Jurman, thank you. Got it right. I'll keep it that way for the rest of the season. Good night, everybody.
See you guys.